You've been told that crystals attract love, money, healing, but what if I told you that most people are only scratching the surface, and the real spiritual truth behind crystals is far deeper, darker, and far more powerful than you've ever imagined? Because crystals don't just give energy, they respond, they amplify, and sometimes, they expose. Let me take you beyond the aesthetic, beyond the trends, beyond the Pinterest spirituality, into the raw, unfiltered truth. Most people believe crystals work like tools, like you pick one, use it, and get results. But spiritually, crystals are not tools. They are mirrors. Yes, mirrors of your inner frequency. Every crystal holds a stable vibrational pattern, a structure that has existed for thousands, sometimes millions of years. When you bring a crystal into your energy field, it doesn't change itself to match you, it forces you to confront what within you is misaligned. That's why some people feel peace with a crystal, and others feel discomfort, anxiety, or even emotional release. Because crystals don't heal you gently, they reveal you honestly. And this is the part nobody talks about. When you hold a crystal like black tourmaline or obsidian, you may think it's protecting you, but in reality, it's pulling hidden negativity to the surface. Old fears, suppressed emotions, unresolved trauma, things your mind buried to survive. That sudden heaviness you feel, that emotional wave, that's not the crystal harming you, that's truth rising. Crystals don't create energy, they amplify what already exists within you. So if you carry doubt, your crystal amplifies doubt. If you carry clarity, your crystal amplifies clarity. If you carry chaos, your crystal will not calm you, it will magnify the chaos until you face it. This is why some people say, crystals don't work for me. No, they worked perfectly. They just didn't give the illusion of comfort, they demanded transformation. Now here's where it gets even deeper. Crystals are not passive. Spiritually, they hold memory. Not memory like humans, but energetic imprints. The earth stores frequency, and crystals are like frozen records of that frequency. When you pick a crystal, you are not choosing randomly, you are being drawn to a specific vibration your soul recognizes. That attraction? It's not aesthetic. It's energetic alignment, or energetic need. And sometimes, the crystal you are most attracted to is the one that will challenge you the most. Because true spiritual growth is not comfortable. It's not about feeling good all the time. It's about becoming aware. And crystals accelerate awareness. Have you ever noticed that when you start working deeply with crystals, your life begins to shift? Relationships change, habits break, emotions intensify, clarity comes faster than you're ready for. That's not coincidence. That's amplification. Crystals increase the speed at which your inner world reflects into your outer reality. They collapse the gap between thought, emotion, and manifestation. Which means, they don't just help you manifest your desires, they force you to confront your contradictions. You say you want love, but you carry fear. You say you want abundance, but you believe in lack. You say you want peace, but you are addicted to chaos. Crystals don't judge this, they expose it. And once exposed, you cannot unsee it. That's why working with crystals consciously is powerful, but working with them unconsciously can feel overwhelming. Because without awareness, amplification becomes confusion. Now let's talk about something even more hidden. Not all crystals will resonate with you at all times. Your energy evolves, your frequency shifts, and the crystal that once felt powerful may suddenly feel heavy or neutral. That doesn't mean the crystal stopped working. It means you've either integrated its lesson, or you're resisting the next level it's trying to push you into. Crystals are not meant to be collected endlessly, they are meant to be experienced deeply. One crystal, used with full awareness, can transform your life more than 20 crystals used unconsciously. And here's the truth most people avoid. You don't need crystals. Your body, your mind, your consciousness, already holds everything. Crystals are simply external stabilizers, helping you access what already exists within you. They are not the source. You are. But because humans struggle with internal focus, crystals act as anchors, physical reminders of invisible energy. They make the unseen feel tangible. And that's why they feel magical. But the magic was never in the crystal. It was always in your ability to respond to it. Now think about this. If crystals amplify your inner state, then the real question is not, which crystal should I use? The real question is, what am I carrying within me that I'm about to amplify? So now, the question becomes deeper, more uncomfortable, and far more real. If crystals amplify everything within you, then why do some people experience miracles, while others feel stuck, drained, or even lost? Because there is something almost never spoken about in the spiritual space. Crystals don't just amplify your emotions, they amplify your level of consciousness. And that changes everything. Two people can hold the exact same crystal, at the exact same time, with completely different outcomes. One feels peace, clarity, expansion, the other feels restlessness, confusion, resistance. Not because the crystal is different, but because their awareness is different. Crystals respond to intention, but they obey truth. You can set all the intentions you want, repeat affirmations, speak positivity, but the crystal will not amplify what you say. It amplifies what you are. And that's where the real spiritual work begins. Because most people are not aware of their true inner state. They are aware of what they want to feel, not what they actually feel. And crystals remove that illusion. They strip away the spiritual mask and bring you face to face with your real frequency. This is why working with crystals can sometimes feel like you're losing control. Old patterns start breaking, people leave your life, situations collapse, emotions rise without warning. It feels chaotic, almost like things are getting worse. But spiritually, this is alignment. Because before anything real can be built, everything false must fall apart. Crystals don't destroy your life. They reveal what was never stable to begin with. And that process is not soft. It's raw. It's confronting, and it requires honesty most people are not ready for. Now here's something even deeper, something very few people truly understand. Crystals do not work alone. They interact with your nervous system. Your body is not separate from your spiritual experience. It is the gateway. When you hold a crystal, your skin, your cells, your electromagnetic field, all begin to respond to its frequency. But if your nervous system is overwhelmed, stressed, constantly in survival mode, you cannot fully receive or integrate that frequency. Instead, you experience resistance. This is why some people feel anxious while using high-energy crystals like clear quartz or moldavite. It's not that the crystal is too strong. It's that your system is not regulated enough to process the intensity. And this is where real mastery begins. Not in collecting more crystals, but in stabilizing yourself. Because the clearer your internal state, the more precisely a crystal can amplify what truly matters. Now let's go even further. There is a silent bond that forms between you and a crystal when you work with it consciously over time. It starts to tune to you. Not in a mystical fantasy way, but in a consistent energetic relationship. The more you interact with it, the more your energy imprints onto it, and its structure begins to resonate more specifically with your frequency. That's why a crystal you've used for months feels different from a new one. It feels familiar, almost alive. Because energy repeated becomes pattern. And pattern becomes connection. But here's the truth most people ignore. This connection can also hold stagnation. If you remain in the same emotional loops, the same fears, the same identity, your crystal will continue amplifying that cycle. Not because it wants to trap you, but because it reflects consistency. Crystals don't push you forward automatically. They amplify whatever you consistently feed into them. So if you want transformation, you must change first. Even slightly, even subtly. Because the moment your internal frequency shifts, the crystal responds instantly. Now here's the most raw truth of all. Crystals are not here to make your life easier. They are here to make you more aware. And awareness is not always comfortable. Sometimes it feels like clarity, sometimes it feels like loss, sometimes it feels like awakening, and sometimes it feels like everything you believed, dissolving. But that is the path of real spirituality. Not escaping reality, but seeing it fully. Crystals are not shortcuts. They are accelerators. They speed up what you are already becoming. So if you are unconscious, they accelerate confusion. If you are aware, they accelerate growth. If you are resisting, they intensify resistance. If you are ready, they expand you beyond what you thought was possible. And that's why they are powerful. Not because they change your destiny, but because they reveal it, faster than you can hide from it. So before you pick your next crystal, before you set your next intention, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, honestly, am I ready to see the truth about myself, without filters, without illusions, without escape? Because once you start working with crystals at this level, there is no going back to surface-level spirituality, only depth. And now, we arrive at the part most people never reach, because this is where spirituality stops being aesthetic and starts becoming responsibility. You already know, crystals amplify. You already know, they expose. You already know, they accelerate. But what happens when you start using them with full awareness? This is where power becomes precision. Because at an advanced level, crystals are not used randomly, they are used intentionally, almost like tuning specific frequencies within your life. Different crystals don't just carry meanings, they carry functions. Not surface-level functions, but energetic roles. For example, grounding crystals don't just protect you, they stabilize your identity. They bring your awareness back into your body, into the present, into reality. Heart-centered crystals don't just attract love, they dissolve emotional armor, the invisible walls you built after being hurt, after being disappointed, after being misunderstood. And high-frequency crystals, they don't just raise vibration, they challenge your current identity, forcing you to outgrow the version of yourself that feels safe, but limited. So when you wear a crystal, you are not just wearing something beautiful. You are choosing what part of yourself you are ready to activate, or confront, every single day. And this is why wearing the wrong crystal, at the wrong time, can feel uncomfortable. Not dangerous, but misaligned. Because if your system needs grounding, but you wear a highly activating crystal, you may feel anxious, scattered, emotionally overwhelmed. If your system needs emotional healing, but you focus only on manifestation crystals, you may feel blocked, frustrated, disconnected. This is why true crystal work is personal. There is no one crystal for everyone. Your energy, your life phase, your emotional state, your subconscious patterns, all of it matters. And that's where conscious selection becomes powerful. Not based on trends, not based on aesthetics, but based on alignment. Because the right crystal, at the right time, doesn't just support you. It shifts you. Subtly, consistently, deeply. Now here's something even deeper, something most people overlook. Wearing a crystal is not passive. It creates a constant energetic dialogue between you and the crystal. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every reaction you have, is being amplified and reflected throughout your day. Which means, wearing a crystal is like choosing your energetic environment. Just like the people you surround yourself with, your crystal becomes a silent influence. It doesn't speak, but it shapes. And over time, that shaping becomes transformation. But only if you are aware of it. Because without awareness, even powerful tools become patterns. Now let's go to the deepest truth of all. At the highest level, you don't depend on crystals. You collaborate with them. You understand when to use them, when to pause, when to change, and when to let go. Because the goal is not to become attached. The goal is to become aligned. And once alignment becomes natural, the need for external support begins to reduce. Not because crystals stop working, but because you have become stable within yourself. And that is real power. Now listen carefully. If everything you've heard in this video felt intense, confronting, or deeply real, that's not coincidence. That's resonance. Because this knowledge is not meant for everyone. It's meant for those who are ready to go beyond surface spirituality and step into real awareness. So if you are someone who wants to understand which crystal you should wear, not based on trends, but based on your real energy, your real life, your real blocks, then you can reach out for a personalized crystal consultation. The details, whether it's email or phone, are mentioned in the description. Because choosing the right crystal is not about guessing. It's about alignment. And if you've been feeling stuck, confused, or like nothing is truly shifting, Sometimes, it's not that you need more effort. You need the right frequency. Also, something very special is coming. A crystal guide, not based on surface meanings, but based on deep, real, practical spiritual understanding. And when it launches, those who are part of the inner group will receive a special discount, something that won't be available publicly. So if you feel connected to this knowledge, if something inside you says, "This is different, this is real," then don't stay outside. Join the circle. The WhatsApp number is in the description. Because this journey is not about collecting crystals. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs to hide from their own energy. And once you reach that point, you don't just use crystals. You understand them. And when you understand them, you understand yourself. And when that happens, everything you were searching for, outside, starts responding, from within.